Welcome back to Shocking Stories, where we uncover the most deceptive true crime cases that will make you question the people we trust with our final moments and wonder whether some confessions are worth more than gold. I'm your host, and today we're heading to a quiet hospice center in Seattle, Washington, where a nurse's compassionate recordings of dying patients' final words became the key to unlocking millions in hidden fortunes, and exposing a scheme so clever it blurred the line between caregiver and criminal mastermind. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear involves a case that challenged everything we know about trust, deathbed secrets, and the value of a dying person's last words. This is the story of Nurse Elena Vazquez, a 42-year-old hospice nurse renowned for her empathy and dedication to recording patients' final confessions for their families. But when those recordings led to the mysterious disappearance of over $15 million in hidden assets from her patients' estates, investigators had to ask, was Elena an angel capturing last wishes, or a thief using deathbed secrets to fund her own empire? Picture this. It's 11:47 p.m. on February 12, 2024, in the dimly lit rooms of Evergreen Hospice Center in Seattle. Nurse Elena Vazquez sits beside 78-year-old millionaire investor Robert Chen, who is hours from death due to terminal cancer. With his family's permission, Elena activates her small digital recorder, a tool she uses to capture patients' final thoughts for posterity. "Robert, if there's anything you'd like to say to your loved ones, now's the time," Elena says softly, her voice a soothing presence that has comforted hundreds of dying patients over her 15-year career. Robert, weak but lucid, begins speaking in a raspy whisper. "The money. The offshore accounts. Code is 472981. Hidden in the cabin safe. Tell my son, it's all for him. Don't let the lawyers take it." Elena nods compassionately, making notes as Robert drifts back into unconsciousness. He passes away peacefully 3 hours later, at 2:50 a.m. But when Robert's family arrives the next morning to handle his affairs, they discover something shocking. The offshore accounts he mentioned, containing over $2.3 million, have been completely emptied, transferred to an untraceable wallet just minutes after his death. The family was devastated, recalled estate attorney Patricia Moore, who represented the Chen family. Robert had been meticulous about his finances. He wanted to leave everything to his son, but the money vanished right after he died. The only person who knew about those accounts was Nurse Vazquez, from the recording she made. Elena Vazquez had built her reputation as the angel of last words at Evergreen Hospice. For years, she had offered to record patients' final messages, confessions, and wishes, providing families with priceless audio keepsakes. Her recordings had helped resolve family disputes, locate lost heirlooms, and even expose long-hidden affairs. Elena was a godsend, said hospice director Dr. Michael Torres. Patients opened up to her in ways they wouldn't with family. She had this gift for making people feel safe enough to share their deepest secrets before passing. But Robert Chen's case wasn't isolated. Over the previous 18 months, 6 other wealthy patients under Elena's care had experienced similar mysteries. Deathbed confessions revealing hidden assets, followed by those assets disappearing within hours of death. The total vanished wealth exceeded $15 million, including cash stashes, cryptocurrency wallets, and even buried gold coins. In each case, Elena's recordings captured the crucial details: account numbers, safe combinations, GPS coordinates to hidden vaults that would allow someone to access the fortunes. And in each case, the money was gone before families could act. These weren't random thefts, explained Seattle Police Detective Sarah Kim, who was assigned to the initial missing funds report from the Chen family. The precision and timing suggested someone with intimate knowledge of the confessions was acting immediately after death, before families even knew about the recordings. Detective Kim's investigation began with routine checks, reviewing hospice security footage, interviewing staff, and examining Elena's background. On the surface, Elena was the perfect nurse, dedicated, compassionate, with glowing reviews from patients and families. She lived modestly in a small apartment, had no criminal record, and volunteered at local shelters on her days off. But deeper digging revealed anomalies. Elena's bank accounts showed unusual patterns, small, irregular deposits that didn't match her salary, totaling over $200,000 in the past year. Her phone records indicated frequent calls to offshore financial centers, and her internet history included searches for untraceable money transfers and cryptocurrency anonymization. The evidence was circumstantial at first, Detective Kim admitted. We had no direct proof that Elena was accessing the funds. But the timing was too perfect. Every disappearance happened within 2 hours of a patient's death, during Elena's shifts. The turning point came when undercover investigators posed as a wealthy patient's family, mentioning hidden assets during a confidential conversation near Elena. Sure enough, after the patient's simulated death, a staged event coordinated with hospice staff, the test account they had mentioned was drained, transferred to a wallet linked to Elena's IP address. Elena wasn't just recording confessions, she was mining them for profit, Detective Kim revealed. She had turned the sacred act of capturing last words into a sophisticated heist operation. But as investigators prepared to arrest Elena, they discovered something even more shocking. Not all the missing money had gone into her pockets. Large portions were being funneled to anonymous charities, victim support groups, and even the families of her patients' past victims, suggesting Elena's scheme might have a Robin Hood twist. What do you think motivated Elena to steal from the dying? Drop your theories in the comments below, because what investigators uncovered about her past would reveal a conspiracy that went far beyond simple theft and exposed a network of corruption in the hospice industry. The recordings weren't just capturing confessions. They were part of a larger plan to redistribute ill-gotten wealth, but at what cost to Elena's soul? Like this video if you're as shocked by this deathbed heist as I am, and let me know in the comments whether you think Elena was a thief or a misguided vigilante. Don't forget to subscribe because in part 2, we're going to reveal the full scope of Elena's operation and discover that her angel act hid a dark secret from her own past that would change everything. Welcome back to Shocking Stories. When we left off, Nurse Elena Vasquez had been exposed as the mastermind behind a sophisticated heist operation using deathbed confessions to steal millions from dying patients. But what investigators discovered when they delved into Elena's background would reveal that her crimes were part of a larger conspiracy involving corrupt hospice executives and an underground network redistributing wealth to victims of financial crimes. The arrest of Elena Vasquez on March 15, 2025, was swift and dramatic. Seattle police, armed with evidence from their undercover operation, raided her apartment and found digital ledgers detailing over $15 million in transferred funds, encrypted recordings of patient confessions, and a network of anonymous bank accounts linked to charities across the country. Elena wasn't keeping all the money for herself, Detective Sarah Kim explained during the press conference announcing the arrest. She was operating as part of a sophisticated redistribution scheme that targeted wealthy patients with histories of financial crimes or exploitation. The investigation revealed that Elena had been selectively choosing patients based on their backgrounds. Using her access to medical records and family histories, she identified those who had amassed fortunes through questionable means, insider trading, embezzlement, or exploitation of vulnerable people. These weren't innocent millionaires, Detective Kim continued. Many of Elena's patients had dark secrets of their own, fortunes built on fraud, Ponzi schemes, or corporate malfeasance. Elena was using their deathbed confessions to locate and liberate those ill-gotten gains. Elena's recordings went beyond simple last words. They were carefully guided interrogations designed to extract specific financial details under the guise of providing emotional closure. She would prompt patients with questions like, "Is there any unfinished business you'd like to resolve?" Or, "Are there assets your family should know about?" to elicit codes, account numbers, and locations. But Elena wasn't working alone. The investigation uncovered a network of hospice workers, financial hackers, and anonymous activists who believed they were correcting economic injustices by redistributing wealth from the dying rich to victims of financial crimes. "We called it the Robin Hood ring," said FBI Special Agent Michael Torres, who joined the investigation when federal financial crimes became apparent. This wasn't random theft, it was a coordinated effort to use hospice access as a means of wealth redistribution. The ring's operations extended beyond Seattle to hospice centers in California, New York, and Florida. Members would identify wealthy patients with criminal histories, extract financial information through recorded confessions, and then transfer funds to anonymous accounts that funneled money to verified victims of financial scams. Elena's role was the confessor, Agent Torres explained. She had the bedside manner to gain trust and extract details without suspicion. The hackers handled the transfers, and the activists distributed the funds to deserving recipients. The ethical questions raised by the ring's activities divided public opinion. Some saw them as modern-day heroes fighting economic inequality, while others viewed them as opportunistic thieves preying on the dying. They stole from people who couldn't defend themselves, argued prosecutor Patricia Moore. No matter their past crimes, these patients deserved to pass in peace without being exploited in their final moments. But supporters pointed to the positive impact. Over $20 million had been redistributed to victims of Ponzi schemes, fraudulent investments, and corporate fraud. One recipient, a widow who had lost her life savings to a scam, received $500,000 anonymously with a note saying, "From someone who wished to make amends." The investigation into Alina's past revealed the motivation behind her involvement. 20 years earlier, Alina's father had been ruined by a financial advisor's Ponzi scheme, leading to his suicide and the family's destitution. Alina had entered nursing to help the vulnerable, but her anger toward the wealthy elite who escaped justice had festered. Alina's heist was personal, Detective Kim observed. She saw herself as an avenger, using her position to extract justice from those who had evaded it in life. As Part 2 of our investigation concludes, Elena Vazquez sits in federal custody awaiting trial for theft, conspiracy, and exploitation of the vulnerable. But the case had exposed a shadowy world of vigilante justice in the hospice industry, raising questions about whether her crimes were theft or a twisted form of restitution. Don't miss Part 3, where we'll reveal the dramatic trial that divided the nation, explore how Alina's recordings changed hospice protocols forever, and discover the shocking twist about where the missing millions really ended up. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell, because the conclusion of this story will show you how deathbed secrets can become weapons of economic warfare. Welcome back to the shocking conclusion of our investigation into the hospice heist. When we left off, Nurse Elena Vazquez had been exposed as part of a vigilante ring using deathbed confessions to redistribute millions from wealthy patients to victims of financial crimes. What happened next would divide the nation, transform hospice care ethics, and reveal a final twist that no one saw coming. The trial of Elena Vazquez began on September 15, 2025, in Seattle Federal Court, presided over by Judge Robert Chen. The case attracted massive media attention, with protesters on both sides, some calling Elena a modern Robin Hood, others demanding harsh punishment for exploiting the dying. Prosecutor Patricia Moore built a case around Elena's recordings, financial records, and witness testimony from hospice staff who had suspected her unusual interest in patients' personal affairs. Elena Vazquez abused her position of trust to extract secrets from vulnerable people in their final moments, Moore argued in opening statements. She turned sacred confessions into criminal opportunities, stealing not just money but the dignity of the dying. The defense, led by attorney Jennifer Kim, portrayed Elena as a victim of systemic injustice who had taken extreme measures to correct economic wrongs. Elena didn't steal for personal gain, she redistributed ill-gotten wealth to those who had been victimized, Kim countered. Her actions exposed a broken system where the rich die with secrets of exploitation, while the poor suffer without recourse. Key testimony came from Elena herself, who took the stand to explain her motivations. "My father's suicide after losing everything to fraud broke my family," she said tearfully. "I saw patients who had ruined lives like his, confessing without consequence. I couldn't let that money stay hidden while victims suffered." The trial's turning point was the revelation that Elena's ring had redistributed over $25 million to verified scam victims, including anonymous donations to charities supporting the elderly and financially exploited. But the prosecution presented evidence that Elena had kept $1.2 million for herself, undermining her Robin Hood defense. The jury deliberated for 5 days before returning a mixed verdict. Guilty on theft and conspiracy charges, but not guilty on exploitation counts, citing her overall positive impact on patients' emotional well-being. Judge Chen sentenced Elena to 8 years in federal prison, with credit for time served and the possibility of early release for good behavior. "Your intentions were noble, but your methods criminal," he stated. The case led to sweeping reforms in hospice care, including mandatory ethics training, restrictions on recording patient confessions, and enhanced oversight of staff interactions with family finances. Elena's case exposed vulnerabilities in end-of-life care, said hospice reform advocate Dr. Michael Torres. We now have protocols to protect both patients' secrets and their dignity. The shocking twist came 6 months after Elena's conviction. An anonymous whistleblower revealed that several of her victims had actually consented to the redistribution in their confessions, viewing it as atonement for their own crimes. Some patients knew exactly what Elena was doing and approved, the whistleblower claimed, providing additional recordings. This led to a partial appeal and reduced sentence for Elena, who now serves as a consultant for ethical hospice practices from prison. As our investigation concludes, Elena Vazquez remains incarcerated but has become a symbol of vigilante justice in an unequal world. Her heist forced society to confront how we handle the secrets and fortunes of the dying. If this story of deathbed justice and ethical ambiguity has gripped you, like and share to spark discussions on end-of-life ethics. Subscribe for more tales where morality meets mystery, proving that sometimes the greatest heists are born from the heart's deepest regrets.